Hi everyone, I'm David Farmer and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about anxiety. Now this seems to be a hot topic these days, so it's only right that eventually I should say a few words on it. And what I wanted to do was help you to understand the difference between a normal fight or flight response and mental anxiety or suffering, as it's often known in spiritual circles. So, in order to do this, I wanted to tell a little story, a little parable. Now, bear with me, because I know when, when spiritual coaches start wanting to tell stories, it usually invokes eye rolls and sighs um, when they start saying, let me tell you a story about, there once was a king on the top of the mountain. So just bear with me a little second. It's a parable that I read years and years ago, and I didn't understand it at the time, or rather I misunderstood it. And it was only later that I really sort of got it. And it's a very short story about, and it's very well known in the Zen world. Anybody who's studied Zen or been a Zen practitioner for years will understand this, will know this parable. It's the parable of the monk with sweaty hands. So there once was a monk, and he was due to meet this local dignitary. And it was supposedly quite a big event. And leading up to the meeting, or perhaps it was on the day of the meeting, he noticed that he had really sweaty palms. And he thought, wow, I'm supposed to be this beacon of light, this example of awakened enlightenment. How on earth can I have sweaty hands? So he refused to meet the dignitary, and he went off and he meditated for I don't know how long, umpteen years, and became enlightened. And that's the parable. Now, what the parable doesn't say is that post-awakening, he no longer had sweaty hands. And I think this is where many people, including myself, misunderstood this. Because this kind of nervousness or bodily pain is just the body's survival mechanism. It's perfectly natural, it's perfectly normal. In that regard, we are no different to any other creature. Particularly if we're talking about pain. So people often ask me about, the pain of the body. But, the pain is necessary. The body wouldn't last 2 seconds without pain. Imagine if you're a little kid and you bashed your head. You fell down and bashed your head. And imagine you didn't feel any pain. How long do you think the body would last? So pain is natural, pain is normal. And so is this kind of response to sort of nervous anxiety that we feel in particular situations. It's purely physiological, and it's just our fight or flight response. So in that sense, it's really not necessary to talk about it at all. So we can just kind of put that to one side. Mental anxiety or mental suffering, on the other hand, is a totally different thing. The mental anxiety, the mental suffering that many people feel is not the body's survival mechanism, but the ego's survival mechanism. It is the apparent separate person's survival mechanism, the mental suffering. But here's the kicker, and the clue was in my previous statement there. It's apparent. It seems to exist, but the separate self, separate person, simply doesn't exist at all. Now we can prove this together. It's really easy to prove it. So let's just take a minute to do this together. Just be very still. Nice and comfortable in your chair. Notice that you become very aware. So this conscious awareness is noticed, is present. So just take a moment to be really consciously aware. Notice any thoughts. Those thoughts are coming and going effortlessly by themselves. Notice the sensation of sitting in a chair, or wherever you're listening to this, if you're standing or wherever you are, notice this sensation in the body, any stiffness or itchiness or whatever. And that is also just happening. You are not doing it. It's just happening. Then notice anything that's coming into your other senses. So the sound of my voice is coming into your ears effortlessly. And maybe the buzz of a computer or something in the room. Again, it's happening by itself. And you can extend that to the apparent outside of the room, so any sounds coming from outside, from traffic or birds, or light coming in the window, noise from another room. It's all happening effortlessly. Just take a second just to notice all of that. So now if you want, you can engage thinking. You can engage thinking, create a person that notices all that. You can create the me that listens, the me that sees, the me that smells, the me that tastes. And you can say, oh, I hear the sound, I see the light. But notice that's to engage thinking. So to quote the great philosopher Krishnamurti, who I've really admired very much, to quote him, thought has created the thinker. So, in turn, in doing so, you also create your own anxiety. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? When you remain as effortless being, just this notice that everything is happening. There's no anxiety in that. It's only when you start the thinking that the person is created, the troubles are created, and the anxiety associated with all those apparent troubles are created. But step out of it, don't think about it. Where does it all go? It just simply doesn't exist. So this thinking is optional, and therefore suffering is optional. Mental anxiety is optional. It's not your natural state. Your natural state has no anxiety whatsoever. So remain in your natural state. Remain where there is no anxiety, no suffering. And just go with the flow. Just allow everything to be and to unfold as it unfolds. The suffering is the resistance to this unfolding. Any tiny little thought that comes in and says, I don't want this, I don't like this, is suffering itself, is anxiety itself. So don't engage the thinking, just be effortless being. And what you'll find is that life will unfold in amazing, beautiful, unexpected ways that the thinking mind could never ever have imagined. So that's my 2 cents on anxiety this morning. I hope that resonated with you. If you enjoyed that, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel to help the content go out to more people. If you would like a private session with me, you can easily book one on effortlessbeing.org. So thanks very much, and I hope you have a really, really anxiety-free day.